Hi everyone, my name's Verita, or as you know me on Divine Nine Lover as Quiet Storm. This is my video, finally, long behold, of my journey to Sigma and how Sigma was the right fit for me and why I made that decision. So background on me, I'm currently going to school in Peoria, Illinois at Bradley University. I am a part of the Zeta Phi chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I'm a senior marketing major and I come from Portland, Oregon. I'm a little far from home. So to start, one of the reasons I even got out to Bradley was because I was recruited to play softball here. So my first 2 years at Bradley, I was on the women's softball team. I loved it. It was awesome. A great experience. And around my sophomore year, we had started doing some camps and stuff for softball, and I really, really loved it. And that was definitely something I really wanted to continue on with. And come December, I really wanted to start working on a Toys for Tots drive. I'm a military brat. I'm a product of someone that was in the Marine Corps for 21 years and the Navy for 17 and a half. So both my parents are military oriented, so I ultimately got a lot of some of their skills rubbed off on me, which I love. But I noticed that on campus we never really had any type of toy drive, and so I took some time, got in contact with the local Marine Corps Reserve group out here in Peoria, and was able to schedule and set up a Toys for Tots drive, and I loved it. And I basically just really remember talking to my dad about how much I loved giving back to the community and how I really wanted this to be something that I could do long term and not just one Friday every other month with the softball team. Just because our schedule was so crazy, it was hard for us to get a lot of service in. So I really wanted to take time to dedicate myself to doing more service, even though I knew it would be hard with my softball schedule. So at that point, my dad said, well, why don't you join a sorority? You know, is that an option? With my schedule, my coach was really I wouldn't say really against it, but it was just really hard to do any type of membership or really a lot of any other club organization on campus with our softball schedule. So at first I was like, that's not really an option, but it's definitely something I'd like to look into. So right off the bat, after I started realizing that I did kind of want to be part of an organization that was dedicated towards service, I knew for me right away I wasn't really interested in NPC organization. I wanted to find an organization where I could give back directly to the community. I love the idea of philanthropies. I think they're a great idea, but I know I wanted to find an organization I basically wanted to find an organization that was all about giving back directly to the community. I would rather spend a few hours a week working with some children or the elderly or wherever I can get in and get some service in, and I'd rather just see what I can do to the community right there. So within that 1 hour time period, I'd love to walk away and have that satisfaction of seeing like some little kid with a smile on their face because I was able to take time out of my day to help them, rather than just spending time to donate money to a larger organization where you don't exactly get to see that instant satisfaction and kind of get that satisfaction yourself. So I knew personally right off the bat I wanted to do something that was more community related rather than regionally, nationally, internationally. Then from there, I slightly looked into the NPC organizations at Bradley, but I still wasn't exactly sure that was the way I wanted to go. I know someone asked me a while ago if one of the reasons I chose a NPHC organization was because I did come from a predominantly white area growing up, well, all the areas I grew up in basically, was that I wanted to join an NPHC organization to kind of feel that connection as an African American. I don't exactly want to say that's why I chose an NPHC organization, that was like my motivation, but I personally am very prideful in who I am, be it my ethnic background, my sexual orientation, where I've come, where I'm going, where my family has come, where they are going. So I'm a very prideful person, so I wouldn't exactly say that I wanted to join an NPHC organization because I felt disconnected from other African Americans, but it was because I am an African American woman. I did want to join an organization that was built on that historically, and that was definitely motivation for me. So once I did realize I was interested in joining an NPHC organization, I had no knowledge of Greek life whatsoever before coming into college, aside from the fact that my sister's best friend is in some sorority. I mean, I can't even tell you right now off the bat. And also that my sister-in-law was in a sorority. I didn't really know why, or not know why. I didn't really know which ones they were or exactly the purpose and the reasoning behind organizations like that. So once I knew, I actually I kind of went, I guess you wouldn't say the traditional route of expressing interest, or not expressing interest, but kind of like becoming informed. I had connections and knew of people in organizations. So basically, I just had one-on-ones with one member of each active organization on my campus. I did not have a meeting with the AKAs because I didn't really know any, but I also knew that from what experiences I had, I didn't think that was exactly a fit for me. So upon that revelation and still wanting to find out more information about organizations, I met with a Zeta, a Delta, and I had class with two SG-Ros, which is ironic because the two SG-Ros I had class with are now my Sigma mom and my Sigma grandma, so it's kind of awesome how that all went full circle. But I did take time, and I had one-on-ones with the Delta. We went and got frozen yogurt, and I was just like, you know what, I feel I'm interested in an organization. Can you tell me more about yours? We talked for maybe a good 45 minutes just about Delta, what it had done for her, and things like that. So she knew that I was open to all, and I was just asking for her perspective and just her personal experience. She was also the president of the chapter we have here at Bradley, so I felt like she could give me a good insight. And she was also a senior, and I knew she'd been in for a while. So had that conversation with her. It was great. It was awesome. Then I met with one of my friends who's a Zeta. I actually, ironically, just like ran into her as I was in the elevator and hesitated to even ask if I could talk to her real quick. I don't know why I was so nervous, but I was. So I just ended up going back up to her room. We talked for maybe 15-20 minutes about Zeta and what it had done for her. So kind of the same, basically I asked the same questions her as I asked the Delta, as I later asked the two SG-Ros I knew. And, you know, I just wanted to take time to fully get a member's perspective. I mean, you can learn a lot online, but I know for me personally, I wanted to hear what they felt it had done, and also what overlaps I noticed they would mention that they felt joining a sorority in general had done for them. So I had my meeting with Delta, I had my meeting with Zeta. After class one day, I asked the two SG-Ros, hey, I remember you're in an organization, can you tell me what organization that is? They told me. I remembered it was one of the Divine Nine sororities, so I asked if I could speak with them after class. We went and spoke for about another probably 30-45 minutes, and I just asked them, you know, hey, do you guys have any events coming up, anything like that? Ironically, it was around Founders Week, so they had a line of events coming up. So I went to as many events as I could, and I just loved how they were so unique as individuals, but when they were together, they were like one. Like, they were so united in sisterly love and just like the genuine want to be there and the want to give back and to dedicate their time to making a difference in the community. That was what really captivated my attention. And I think it was just my interactions with them as well. I guess I felt like they were very relaxed and chill, but when it came to business, they were on top of it. And that was something that I felt I wanted to be a part of. Whereas some of the other organizations I spoke with, I felt like it was too businessy for me, which is ironic because I'm a marketing major. But I guess I am the type of person that I like to have a fine line between work and play. But, you know, work hard, play hard type idea. So I know I just needed to find an organization that would mimic that. Also, the chapter that would mimic that, because it's not always just about the organization. And I realized that. So, long and behold, I found myself definitely more attracted to the Sigma woman on campus, and I was like, I feel like this is a place that I could see myself, that I could dedicate my time, my efforts, and everything like that. So that was in December that I finally had kind of come to the conclusion that Sigma was something I wanted to pursue. Come January, so this was about to be the full swing of softball season as well, I did attend an informational, went to the first informational, went back to formal informational, and at that point I did have to tell them that I could not pursue membership that semester, which kind of sucked because I really wanted to, but it was impossible. We travel for softball. Even if we're not traveling, we're at home every single weekend basically from February till school's out. So I knew it wasn't an option. It wasn't going to happen. So with that, I did tell them, you know, I was still interested, but with my schedule, it wasn't going to happen. So long and behold, finished the softball season out, and after softball season, I kind of started to lose the love of the game. It wasn't for anything that the coaches had done or the team had done, but it's just, I guess I kind of felt myself ready to get ready for post-college, and it was kind of like, I felt like softball, after 4 years, all I can say is I was I was on the softball team. Whereas in my mind, if I were able to join an organization and make connections and network and start to make a name for myself as well as represent an amazing organization, that I felt would also take me a lot further than just being on the softball team. Also around that time, my grades did start to drop because we were so busy with softball, so I did want to take time to get myself back together, get myself back on track, because at this point I was going to be getting into my harder classes. It was my junior year. I was going to be getting into harder classes and things like that, so I wanted to take time to just kind of focus my energies elsewhere, basically. So next school year starts, junior year starts, August 2013, and I knew I was ready. I talked to my mom, talked to my dad. They were like, are you sure you want to do this? Is this really the route you want to go? And I was like, yes, I feel like I can commit myself to this wholeheartedly. And I always basically kind of like threw all the words they had always taught me growing up back in their face, and it was like, you always say that if I can dedicate myself to something, then I should go for it. And if I feel I can commit to it and I have the resources, the tools, and I'm applicable to do it, then I should. And they were like, you're right. Like, we've been telling you that all your life. So at that point, it was just time. So went to informational, went to formal informational, and October 31st of 2013, I crossed into what I feel is the best organization out there. So Sigma Gamma Sorority Incorporated, and I felt so blessed to cross with my two ships. I love them to death. I would do anything for them, and it's just crazy thinking of the road we came on, because two of us, like, I hated her. We just never got along, but it's just because we both wanted to always lead, and we always were so stubborn. And I definitely think that's one of the things I gained from joining Sigma. That was one of the experiences I definitely hold dear to my heart, is just seeing how much we progressed in 8 weeks, and it was just about working together. I used to not be as outspoken. If something bothered me, I'd let it bother me. Whereas my ship, like, if something bothered her, she would say it right away, and she was always kind of voicing her opinions. So from me, she learned how to hold back, and from her, I learned how to speak up. And then my other ship, she just is kind of just like the jokester, definitely like the choreographer for us, and she's probably one of the smartest people I've ever met, but she's so shy. So it was just really awesome to see her come out of her shell throughout that process between the other two of us. So she's in the middle of us, I'm captain, and my other one's anchor, and quiet one's right in between us, which is ironic, but it's just crazy how far we've come, and just looking back, like, where we started and where we are now. So that's basically my journey. I am here to answer any questions or give any more input. If you guys like this whole vlogging idea, let me know. I can make more videos. I used to make videos all the time for another page I assisted with, so I have up to like 40 videos on my account. I had them. I don't know if I still have them on there or not, but if you guys have questions and you guys would prefer me to answer them in video form like this, let me know. I have no problem with that. I know I didn't want to have to type all of this out because that's a lot to read, so I didn't want to do that, and I figure it's nice for you guys to put the face with the name and all that jazz, and because sometimes it's easier to just talk than type. So went this route. So let me know if you guys like this, if you have any further questions, comments, emotional outpourings, anything like that. And I will see you guys later. Bye.